Gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 of the night. We've got Team EU Bias versus Team C9B Team. That's going to be a little bit confusing. The C9B Team versus Team EU Bias. Blue side is EU Bias, just in case you were wondering. Salic as Scion, the first ban against Commander C, no doubt. He did say earlier in chat, though, he was tired of playing that champion, so no super shocker there. That he is going to get a banned against him, but probably wasn't going to play it anyway.
Yeah, probably not. But still, I'd rather be safe than sorry at this point with some of these guys in their champion pool.
All right, maybe Syndra banned away. Not terribly shocking. She is really strong in the mid lane. Really good at bursting down champions once she gets her ultimate, but hasn't even been seen yet tonight. So a little bit of an interesting choice overall to ban that champion. Maybe just kind of pinching that mid lane pool as the Anivia banned against Lighthouse. Not a shocker there. One of Reeve's favorite champions to play.
Very smart ban to get rid of that option. Of course, Lighthouse still has a ton of other things he can play, a lot of other things he can bring out. And it's just a matter of Ahri also taken off the table. So a lot of mid lane focus coming out of both teams here, really wanting to strip down that pool and force the hand of the opposing mid laner in the first phase of picks and bans.
All right. And that means we still have one more ban for the side of Team EU Bias. Let's see what they take away. They could continue to pinch the mid lane pool. There it is, that Malzahar ban. Other things we've seen Lighthouse take is that Orianna that's been picked up twice so far tonight. Seems to be one of the more interesting picks that people are wanting to kind of go with, especially since you are able to kind of change those runes around. You can take her a little bit more tanky. However, the side of C9B team decided to take her off the table, which makes it even more limited in the mid lane. I think we're going to see some AD mids at this point.
We almost have to. Like, yeah, there are plenty of other options. I mean, Victor comes to mind, having seen that a little bit of a surge in play at Worlds and top lane. I could see them pulling him out from mid lane here as we see Daytone Hamster taking Kayn on the first pick here.
So we do get the Kayn. It was banned away last game, but we do get to see it this time around. Extremely strong assassin. Seen it steal away things like the dragon buff multiple times over. As Lighthouse maybe going a AD carry route this time. He does have that teleport, but I highly doubt he's going to be going in the top lane. We've seen him play AD before, so he could be giving mid lane to Ice instead. As Daedalus, oh yes, please. Please, it's the Maokai support. He has been talking it up. This is a coworker of mine, and he's been talking up his Maokai support for a very, very long time, and now we get to see it in-game live. I am completely psyched as hunky-dory goodness grabs the Zyra. Could be for the mid lane, could be for the bottom lane supportive role. We'll have to find out, as we do have Nerzulian to pick up that third pick for the side of EU Bias.
Okay.
Grabbing Ornn for most likely the top lane.
Yep, and meanwhile, Bunny Meow takes Nidalee into the jungle here. I do like the Corki pick out of Lighthouse because it's a very flexible pick, can be taken into the mid lane or as an ADC. Normally I see it as a mid lane. I don't know if you've seen it elsewhere recently. But I definitely am looking forward to seeing where he takes it and what he does with the champion, as he is now sitting on heal as his summoner spell here instead of teleport, so he could potentially be going into that ADC role, taking a more magic focused ADC as the Lucian gets banned out here. And now both sides can kind of continue to pinch out the look to pinch out the ADC role a little bit, especially if this is a Corki mid that's already been selected.
Yeah, this is going to be really intriguing to see what these last two picks are. Commander C, typically a top lane player.
Draven.
Ice, typically a mid lane player, so they could be going those respective roles and still be the Corki AD carry, which makes sense as to why C9B team is banning out more AD carries. They say we already have our ADC, so we're happy for that pool to be pinched even further. And EU Bias, if they ban another AD carry, they're actually just making it more difficult for themselves because they still need to pick an ADC for their side. They finally decided to take away a top lane champion instead. Ice, we'll see what he decides to go, most likely for the mid lane, but again, could trade up with that Corki. So far, though, what I'm seeing for C9B team is a lot of hybrid damage. Corki, one of those AP yet AD style champions who gets a lot of AP with his auto attacks. Nidalee, also a classically hybrid champion, could go for the AP burst or for AD when it comes to those Cougar spells. Gnar going to be the top lane call, Ice grabbing that. Pretty good champion, actually, I think, for this lineup as a whole. Nice front line, nice engage, and sets up those stuns for Corki to use those that ultimate to kind of just burn through anyone that he's hitting. And his E, I can't remember for the life of me what the name of that spell is.
Oh, Phosphorus Bomb?
Well, Phosphorus Bomb, but maybe it's his W that he dashes across and lights everything
Valkyrie?
on fire. Valkyrie with the package picked up as well can really act as kind of like a miniature Rumble ultimate and pair that with either Gnar stuns or Maokai roots, and it can be really painful for EU Bias as Vel'Koz, the pickup by Commander C, and this is his second time picking it up tonight, so kind of becoming a bit of a secondary option for him.
Meanwhile, Cody J takes the Fizz and Let Me Play grabs the Twisted Fate here. So this is probably, it looks like it might be a Twisted Fate ADC, taking that down to the bottom lane role, which I'm kind of excited for. So we finally get a game with a solid front line between the Ornn on the side of EU Bias and then C9B team taking Gnar and Maokai. We're going to see a lot of supportive play, a lot of guys that can actually soak the damage, soak the big hits. So Fizz is actually going to have to work to get onto a priority target here with this assassination. And the same goes through to Nidalee, that she's going to have to put in a little bit of effort in order to actually pop somebody whenever she goes to make those ganks happen or goes to make the assassination happen on the team fights. I'm very excited to see what happens on that front.
Yeah, I'm very curious at this point because if the Fizz is in the mid lane, then it's an ADC Twisted Fate. On the side of C9B team, is that the Vel'Koz Maokai bottom lane, or is it Corki Maokai with Vel'Koz mid taking barrier? Some questions still to be answered. If I had to predict, which I'm going to right now when running through the players and the champions for EU Bias, it's going to be Detone Hamster in the jungle. Shocker! He's taking Smite. Who would have guessed? Hunky Dory goodness. On the supportive Zyra, Nerzulian with the Ornn in the top lane, Cody J on the Fizz in the mid lane, and Let Me Play 2013 taking the AD carry, Twisted Fate. That's the easy side. Salic, give it to me for the C9B team.
All right, C9B team is going to be Lighthouse playing Corki into the bottom lane AD carry role. Deadless taking Maokai support here. Bunny Meow going with the jungler on the Nidalee. Ice is going to take Gnar up into the top lane, and then we've got Vel'Koz, piloted by Commander C, 2121, going into the middle lane.
All right, I'm definitely liking the overall lineup from C9B team. Great engage on the Gnar and the Maokai with good both ranged engage from the Vel'Koz and Nidalee and even those ultimate rockets from Corki, but also gap closers. Nidalee being able to use Pounce, Corki with the Valkyrie. Vel'Koz, he's slow, he never wants to really get close personal anyway, but they're able to follow up on the initiation from Maokai and Gnar if they're making those aggressive plays. They've got the tanky front line, they're feeling really good, but the main thing from EU Bias that could really mess them up is that Ornn. So talk to me about how Ornn fits in with EU Bias's team.
I mean, Ornn is both. Ornn can act as a major engage or disengage here in this particular situation. Ornn can set up a lot of abilities for Fizz in particular, as well as Zyra. Because think about it, if you land the Ornn Horn with a long range knock-up, Zyra can drop her ult right underneath them while they're still in the process of being knocked up, knock them up, keep them in the air longer so that Fizz can actually get around, choose his target, and lay down the pain on one of these priority targets that we're talking about. Either the Corki or the Vel'Koz come to mind as those priority targets. It gives them a lot of chain CC capability that they can use to really sustain their ability in a team fight to actually put something forward. That's what I'm looking for. EU Bias here. C9B team, you've already touched on it. They've got a lot of long-range engage between Maokai dropping the ultimate, Gnar using Hop Crunch to jump in as he goes Mega Gnar and slam them into the wall. They've got a couple of different options as to how they want to do it. It's just a matter of, well, how they want to do it.
when they want to do it. And that's the key here, is that a lot of the wombo combo from EU Bias is going to have to take place after probably that 14-minute mark, when the laning phase kind of starts to fall apart, and instead you're looking at more of those team fights and skirmishes around the map. During the laning phase, I think that C9B team still has pretty good options. Just across the board, they're going to either be able to, like the Gnar, he's not necessarily a lane winner per se, but he can definitely hold his own, and just, if he wants to, focus on farming, use that ultimate just for a little bit of extra help, and stay safe during that laning phase. However, when it comes to on the side of EU Bias, they have a massive advantage with the Kayn in the jungle, because his assassination opportunities are still going to be huge on the Corki, on the Nidalee if he finds her in the jungle with about half health, or even on that super squishy Vel'Koz in the mid lane. And that's what I'm expecting Kayn to be ganking multiple times. Take out this Vel'Koz, focus on one pressure point from the side of C9B team and shut it down, which is going to make it more of a 5v4 and easier for your team as a whole.
Absolutely. One of my favorite skins, Meowkai, making an appearance today. So glad.
What do you mean, Cottontail Fizz isn't your favorite skin in League of Legends?
Nah, man. That when he uses his ult with that skin, it is terrifying. That rabbit just scares the snot out of me.
I don't know. I still don't think that's as terrifying as the Fiddlestick skin. That, to me, is actually... I really am going to try hard not to dream about it tonight and have issues.
And in trying hard not to dream about it, you're inevitably going to dream about it.
It's probably true, because it really looked to me like a Xenomorph mixed with a Transformer in all of the worst ways, because you've got that huge just face of nothing but teeth, and then these just really thin, gangly arms that have this massive mecha weapon on the end of it. I don't know. That skin rubs me the wrong way, and I think it's awesome because it's so freaky, but I would be not unhappy if it never showed up again. Alright, we got Snow Day Gnar and the Twisted Fate Jack of Hearts skin. Got some extra fancies coming out there. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth game of the night, Team EU Bias versus C9B team. We'll see what both these guys have in store. Some people were promising a little bit of special plays, and it is going to be Commander C's second game of the night on this Vel'Koz. We'll see what he can do. Do we still have the Worlds? No, we don't anymore. I don't know. I kind of liked the Worlds Cup in the top left and the Championship Kazakhs in the bottom right, but no more Worlds.
No more Worlds. Back to plain old Summoner's Rift.
Boring, plain old, simple Summoner's Rift. It's about to get a huge makeover with the Winter Wonderland event coming up.
Excited.
I'm pretty excited about it too, actually. I won't lie. It's one of those... I feel like there was a year, either last year or the year before, that we didn't get the map change. They did do a winter event, but they didn't turn it all snowy. And I was a little bit sad about that, because I think it just looks pretty when it's got all that snow effects on it.
Yeah, I definitely like it when they give us a nice little seasonal effects on it. So we see Deadless getting a couple of... Haha, nailed it.
Best caster NA. He guessed that the AD carrier was going the AD carrier role. Who would have thunk? So, to be fair, on this stream, that usually is actually an impressive thing to do.
This stream, things do get a little weird.
We definitely have not seen Caitlyn in the jungle. I don't know what you're talking about. Leona top lane. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thresh top.
Thresh top. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. So, Nidalee in the jungle. We haven't seen her played much. She's not a very common champion these days. Talk to me about like what her power spikes are, or where she's wanting to use the pressure that she gets in the game.
Well, fortunately, because she's got twice as many abilities due to her... Oh, hang on. We got an early action here. Deadless going to... Deadless and Lighthouse going to get Hunky-Dory Goodness just destroy... Oh, manages to get the heal down, and that's going to be...
Not first blood. Yeah, C9 B team thought they had a little sneaky opportunity to finish off the Zyra super squishy early into the game, but the heal from Let Me Play keeps the Zyra alive as those little meow saplings weren't quite enough to get the full burn down. That said, though, Zyra is going to have to burn a lot of potions to be able to get back to a healthy standpoint. And again, I'm really excited to see how this Maokai can do, especially against Zyra when he is a magic resist heavy champion.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's going to play in big here is they picked this Twisted Fate Zyra bot lane into that Maokai. So they chose to take this. If they do end up regretting it, it's something they walked into.
Hunky Dory Goodness has been doing some pretty good harass, but the damage is the thing that matters. And when it is a Maokai, he's going to have that passive to be able to heal him up, just poke a couple of minions and he'll be alright. Ice gets the ultimate of the Mega Gnar. However, he's going to be slowed down. Nerzulian getting a pretty good amount of poke. And once that Mega Gnar goes back into the Mini Gnar form, he'll be sitting at a pretty low amount of health and needs to be really careful.
Yeah, Ice actually went in for a trade there with a really bad time. I've been playing a lot of Gnar myself as of late. And the fact of the matter is that Ornn just keep throwing those pillars out and going for the knockups as long as you give him the opportunity. And that you see how much damage Ice took just from that one Bellows Breath there. Especially in Mini Gnar form, because you do have reduced, you get a little bit of bonus armor and magic resist when you do pop into Mega Gnar form. So you've got the you got some extra resistances and you get a little bit of heal there. But doesn't have that when he's in Mini Gnar form.
I gotta say, I love Let Me Play using this blue mana card to keep that mana up and isn't even needing to use it just to clean the minions up. Instead, just keeping that mana on the Twisted Fate stacked up so that if an engage is to happen, that's a gold card going down onto any of those enemy champions. The main thing to keep an eye on is which champion do they target. Is it going to be that tanky Maokai, but he's been harassed down pretty low, doesn't have any potions, or is it going to be the squishier Corki? It's so weird to say that because he's really like not seen anyone. Oh! I was waiting, buddy meow. Gonna be executed, pushing a little bit too hard onto the Krugs, dies, and that is first blood over to the jungle of the Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, fortunately it doesn't actually count as first blood, but that would definitely cause some problems. Okay, now this is a problem for Let Me Play and Hunky Dory Goodness here in the bot lane. Lighthouse has set up his freeze down on the bot side, so he is going to be able to stay back and farm pretty safely. Ice pushing is just a little bit too far forward. Beautiful job using the second hop there to get away from Kayn as he goes to land his
That's actually the second time that Kayn has attempted to gank top in very short order, and Ice playing it calm, playing it smoothly, didn't even need to burn Flash to be able to get out both times. Nidalee coming back from the base, rubbing her butt where her ego got hurt a little bit, finishes off those Krugs, gets revenge, and then heads towards that top side, seeing what she can do, knowing that Kayn was just around the corner. Headless flashing forward, engaging onto the Zyra, finds the root, and that is the full engage on the bottom side. Lighthouse dashing forward as well. That's not only the engage for the lockdown, but the follow-up you were talking about early before the game even started. as Atona Hamster ganking in the mid lane.
Slow, Commander low on mana.
C
This isn't gonna be
low
much, though.
on. Oh, stop taking my job from me. No, I'm kidding. Is able to get to the tower, but probably going to recall in the near future with that low mana so that he can actually get back to pushing the waves out as he's still sitting fairly even in farm versus this Fizz. Cody J throws the ultimate, but it's going to miss. Commander C able to walk into the jungle safely for now, trying to ping to his teammates to see if he can get some help from them, and able to walk away from Fizz, which is not a small feat, actually. No mana Vel'Koz escapes a Fizz with ultimate.
Yeah, that definitely should have gone a lot differently. I'm actually surprised that Carrot didn't hit because it looked like it might have clipped his hitbox, but the game said no, so the game said no.
That's a really impressive analysis there, as Ice level 6 gets the Mega Gnar, able to punch Nerzulian a little bit. This isn't Ornn in the top lane, though. He doesn't need to leave the lane. He's just going to keep building his own items. He doesn't have any potions, but he doesn't need to when he's got that harassment, Bellows Breath plus an auto attack on Gnar, continuing to chunk that Gnar's health down. Ice has already burned teleport, so if he backs again, it's going to be a long walk back to lane.
Yeah, fortunately, Ice is staying constantly pushed up here, so if he does have to back, he's got the time he needs to base safely, buy his items, and then walk back in the lane. Nerzulian is going to have to eventually base here relatively soon because he is starting to run a little bit low on mana as we see Detone Hamster coming back in for another gank here on the top side.
Yeah, wasn't able to get the slow. Another hop from Gnar got him safely out, and so Kane's going to have to walk away empty-handed for a third time in a row.
Fourth time, Kane's coming back.
Of C9, as the Horn going to be called. This time he might not
Oh,
walk
the
away
blades reached...
Ooh, he's going to miss, but doesn't matter. Ice, even with the flash, isn't able to get out of Kane's range, so he will be able to pick up his first kill of the game, and technically second blood. I guess really technically third blood.
Yeah, because Zyra went down there.
Third
Bunny Meow is sitting here auto-attacking. Auto-attacking the snot out of Kane.
Yeah, it seems to be going maybe a bit more of an AD route. Can't get over the wall. Oh, does hop the wall, but is hit by the Fizz ultimate, and the blast kill will not save Bunny Meow. Goes down to Cody J on that Fizz. Really good reading of the map, throwing out that ultimate, and even with the flash from Nidalee, wasn't able to escape.
When did Cody throw that? Because I didn't even see that go.
He threw it into the
wall.
wall.
Wow!
And Nidalee
into the wall. It actually it was another one of those. It kind of hit that same spot that I was talking about on Commander, where I thought it clipped his hitbox, and it hit this time instead of missing.
Cody J magical on getting to choose when his abilities hit and when they don't, maybe. As Detone Hamster, knowing the enemy jungler is down, decides to go in and get a little bit of that jungler farm. Sweet, sweet farm. But could pay for it, as the Ocean Drake seems to be on the mind of C9B team as they head towards that Drake. 3 members should be able to clean it up without too much difficulty unless EU Bias decides to respond. But at the moment, they're sticking to the lanes, ganking the Gnar once again. Detone Hamster trying to find the slow, but Mega Gnar form throws them back, disengages the team fight.
Nice job by Gnar here. I will say this, though. He's staying so far pushed up here and not really getting too much advantage out of it. He hasn't taken any plates. He hasn't done any major damage. Hasn't gotten a kill here, and yet continues to be ganked.
It's going to be jumped up by Nerzulian, knocking him out as well, but hopping to the minions. Might be able to walk away for the moment, but he's got Nerzulian underneath the turret. Still not going to be enough. He's going to go down. Cody J underneath the turret, going to take 2 shots in the meantime. Deadless engaging on that bottom side on the Zyra once again, finding the root. The Zyra's got the double knockup, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Deadless getting low, should be finished off by the plants. It's a 2-for-1 trade in the bottom side as the laser comes out in the mid lane from Commander C, just forcing the Fizz to flash away. He's still alive, still has Ignite. I don't think he's going to re-engage, though, on the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, especially without his flash available, he's not going to be able to disengage if he does go in. However, it's not. I mean, it is a Vel'Koz. It doesn't take too much to kill a Vel'Koz.
So even with a great gank on that bottom side for C9's B team, they still are down 1,000 gold, mostly due to this pressure on that top side. 0-2 on that Gnar, 1-2 on the Nidalee as well. That's where this team for red side is struggling as Ice may be taken out again. He gets the Mega Gnar form, the stun drops, and then immediately has to hop to safety. And this is where things are getting really, really rough for this Pornar on that top side.
Yeah, Ice is having a rough time in this top lane. Nerzulian's got enough sustain where he's able to keep the pressure on, especially now that he's got that Sheen. He's able to put down a little bit of extra damage through that. And it's gonna keep him from really being able to put too much forward. Now Ice is gonna draw him forward.
Bunny Meow comes in, just getting a bunch of auto attacks down. Looks like maybe going more of an AD route as Nerzulian trying to trade in with the brittle stacks, but will not be able to go too much further. The Nidalee Spear's just going to miss, and Ornn able to walk away for now. And then both members of C9's B team up there are extremely low. They need to play carefully as they engage on the bottom side onto the TF. The root holds in place for just a moment. In the meantime, Nerzulian re-engaging onto Ice once again. Nidalee around the corner, but can Gnar get out? He gets the Mega
Oh!
No way! Perfect timing from Mega Gnar. And Nidalee comes in with his spear. But now Kane wants in on the 2 up here. He's got the double buff slowed by the rock toss from the Gnar. Gnar's still alive. Nidalee hops in with a pounce. But Kane still gets the last auto attack. Takes out the Gnar. And the Ignite ticks down, finishing off Commander C as well in the mid lane. So bloodthirsty kills back and forth. And we're still fairly even though 1,000 gold up for EU bias.
You can't really be mad if you're Ice there. He went to finish off Nerzulian with the ultimate there, and Bunny's spear managed to hit Nerzulian and kill him beforehand. So Ice didn't have it available to continue the fight against Detone Hamster whenever he came in for that gank. That's the only reason that Ice went down there, is he did not have his Gnar available.
Hunky Dory Goodness doing the best that she can to push this minion wave out from underneath the turret and trying to harass. But at this point, with a pretty tanky Maokai, it's not going to do a whole lot. And Corki, enraged enough, especially with those spells, shouldn't be having to deal that much with these enemy champions as long as this Twisted Fate is continuing to suffer when it comes to that minion farm. Bottom side for C9B team, they're pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely happy getting near constant poke down onto their lane opponents, making sure that they don't have too much any opportunity to really push out and get any space to work with. Cody J lands the ultimate onto Commander C2121, jumps over.
Yeah,
golly.
Just a really good play by Cody J to, hop over those spells from Commander C, even inside the turret, doesn't matter, plays with Trickster, gets him out safely. Nidalee comes here as well, but the Detone Hamster around the corners, this is probably not going to go so well for Bunny Mew. Uses the Cougar form to hop to safety as the Detone Hamster wants to use the ultimate to engage in onto the Nidalee. She flashes out of his auto attack, gets into the jungle, using the Cougar form, has escaped for now, but keep in mind, this is a Kane, he can hop through a wall. Decides not to keep up the chase. Is Ice in trouble once again on that top side. The Twisted Fate looking to maybe make a gank happen on the bottom side. He just teleports into the turret to get right back to farming. It's the 14-minute mark. Walls are down. Shields are down for the turrets. This is when they are their weakest as Lighthouse moves forward, continuing to pressure the EU Bias's bottom laner. Zyra down to about a third health.
Yeah, just constant poke coming out of Lighthouse down here in the bot lane.
Deadless is low on mana though, so he is going to want to back eventually. He did finish off his supportive item last time, though he hasn't. I think he actually did recently get it finished unlocked, so he does have some wards with it. But now that he's finished that supportive item, can go with that sweeping lens, make it a little bit easier to clear out the enemy's vision.
And more importantly, he can now get some additional items in to actually clear out and give himself a little bit more cooldown reduction, a little bit more tankiness. Really reinforce his ability to do his job, stand in the front line, and put the hurt down on his opponents while Lighthouse picks away at their health bars.
7 kills to 14. 20.
14?
Gold to 21. Yeah, 7 kills to 14. No, sorry, I was trying to read too many things at the same time. As Battle Buddy Meow ganks in the top side. Maybe it will be 14 kills after they finish off Nerzulian. The Ornn doing what he can. He tries to hop away, but will still be finished off. Commander C hit with the tail end of the Fizz ultimate, and that should be the rest of the Fizz ultimate. Ignite not going to save you. The Flash not going to save you from the Ignite. This is how you can tell that I'm tired, is when I'm speaking too many words in too complicated of a fashion. 8 kills to 6. But still, 1,000 gold lead for EU Bias. They can't extend it, but they also aren't getting any worse, though this mid lane turret should be able to extend it by a little bit.
Try a lot. That's first turret going over to the side of, what's blue team again? Team EU Bias, right?
Yes, as I am kill bias, because I think the red team should have 14 kills, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah, that's gonna be a big gold swing going over to EU Bias. Fortunately, it looked like EU Bias also picked up the Ocean Drake there, so they picked up a couple of key bonuses there That'll push
Ice
them to a
knocked
nice
up
little
after being slowed with that horn. Should go down again. Cody J becoming unstoppable. 5-0. Huge amount of shutdown gold sitting on him. That turret shot might be able to finish off the Kane, but nice heal once again coming out from Let Me Play. Second time saving a teammate.
Oh,
using
Bunny
that
Meow.
critical spell. Bunny Meow.
Gets snared.
Oh man,
Gets
snared
killed.
up, finished out. And yeah, that is not what you want to see out of your jungler, as a bit of an early ultimate from Deadless, just going to spin right through the map. Not going to do that much. Question mark pings spammed all over the bottom side, as everyone, including probably Deadless, wondering why the heck he ulted there, as he's going to engage onto the Kane, get the root down. He is a very tanky boy, but is he tanky enough? That's the question, especially against all of the CC coming up from EU bias.
Yeah, he's got a lot of force he can put down. Keep himself alive. Create zones of pressure that Lighthouse can take to his advantage. Now, Ice jumping over the minions here, has to flash back. Still putting some damage down onto Nerzulian, but that's going to be the knockups from both, and that's going to be a quick cleanup from Nerzulian onto XLNC Ice after a questionable engage there, jumping over his minions.
Ooh,
Cody
nice
J
playful
is
trickster.
just so good at getting that playful trickster down. Every time Tectonic Disruption comes up, this is going to be bad for Commander C here as he gets knocked up, taken down. Playful trickster drops down. Bunny Meow is going to be in trouble as well as Cody J comes through, and Nerzulian and Cody J combine for 3 kills on the top side, and it's just downright unfortunate for Hamster there. Hamster just showed up to the party, and everyone's already dead.
And a double snare in that bottom side stops C9's B team bottom laners from actually moving forward, trying to get kill onto this TF, who's just sitting back, playing safe, farming away. Yes, he's down 30 farm, but only 1 death. That's the crucial thing. It's keeping Corki from really coming online and being able to start to get fed enough to help carry the team, who currently is sitting at an 0-4 mid laner and a 3-4 jungle. And a 1-5 Gnar top lane.
Yeah.
I was like, how low can I go with this?
Hello, can you go?
6,000 gold lead for EU bias. They're feeling pretty good. Deadless going to engage onto Hunky Dory goodness in that bottom side. She's going to snare him up back in turn. She says, you got a snare, I got a snare, but she's underneath the turret. One more turret shot could have taken her out. She will be able to walk away though. Forces the flash out of the Maokai, and Deadless lives for now. Battle Bunny forcing flash for flash. TF ultimate though brings him right into turret range. Throws out the gold card, stunning up the Nidalee. Nice play from Let Me Play. Gets himself a kill, herself a kill. I apologize. As Ice gonna be able to be CC'd for forever as Nerzulian just layers it beautifully enough for Detona Hamster to come in and secure the kill, accidentally, of course.
That was a wonderful play by Nerzulian, making sure to keep all the slows down. As Lighthouse goes in, gets the rocket down, does manage to get the heal off, so it's going to be not going to put his life in any danger at all there. And it's worth noting, by the way, Hamster did go ahead and pick up that blue cane.
Ooh, Commander C, wow, didn't even be hit by the ultimate, just off to the side. Still affected by it enough to be dropped to half.
Clipped.
And Cody J is just going to wreck. Did burn his flash and ignite to be able to get it, which means Battle Bunny Meow could potentially find him out, but is in the midst of 2, and that's going to be way too much burst damage. And so, they say, from EU bias, you have a tank, that's okay, we can deal far more damage before your tanks truly come online. And Cody J wants to keep that up as Detona Hamster trying to gank on the top side. Ice dropped, he should be going down, gets Mega Gnar, but it doesn't really mean all that much. Ooh, good sweep though. Pushes the members of EU bias out of the base, and Deadless is able to pick up his own kill onto the Kane.
Oh, and there's Nerzulian with the Ornhorn.
Good snipe.
And people say it's not a skill shot.
Pretty much right in front of you. I've burned that to kill people before. If you know what you're doing, right? It's especially funny when it's coming backwards and somebody just walks face first into it and dies. That's pretty awesome. 8,000 gold lead for EU bias. They're still doing very well, but they have given a couple kills over. Once that spear missed, Battle Bunny Meow wasn't really going to be going much of anywhere.
Yeah, now we're starting to see a good bit of separation by EU Bias here. A few minutes, 5-10 minutes ago, or 5 to 7 minutes ago, we'd say it was a pretty even game, but now blowing it wide open, almost a 10,000 gold lead sitting on the side of EU Bias here. As Lighthouse comes up, they're trying to take down Nerzulian. 4 people on the top side of the map here, and Nerzulian still just walks away. This Ornn is so tanky.
Can he escape the Maokai snare?
No,
And nope, he will be rooted up. Maokai's going to make sure that he goes down. Excellency Ice getting the shutdown gold there. 550. In the meantime, though, that allowed Kane, especially with the help of his teammates, to pick up the second Drake of the game, an Infernal, to add to their already Ocean.
Oh boy, Cody chooses to disengage it. Oh man. He had some targets there.
8,000 gold lead for you, Bias. Still holding about true with that. The shutdown goal was the main reason why that didn't spike as a difference. Hunky Dory Goodness playing overall a really nice Zyra, especially just throwing out those spells and plants to get vision, know who's going to go where and how long they're going to be there. Needs to keep up the pressure and aggression. They've got 19 kills so far. They're doing well. Kane decides to keep the aggression by going straight in, finding the Nidalee, able to murder her, finish her off. TF Ultimate going to bring him a little bit closer to the enemy team's base. Actually, I'm not sure what TF is doing.
Deadless here going for the flank.
Deadless doing what he can, but he's still a fairly squishy Maokai. Only has one supportive item, is going to be dropped. Kane able to pick up his 5th of the game. Ornhorn called, Ornhorn used. Ornhorn says Vel'Koz is dead. Sent back to the fountain for another 30 seconds before respawn. TF finally finishes his purchases in the base to join the team, but it doesn't matter because the mid lane turret is already gone. Head right back because you might be getting more gold in a second. As Nerzulian is able to walk away for the moment, using the barrel stacks, just baiting the Fizz in. He steps forward, but the Meganar form keeps Ice alive for now.
And critically, Ice used his Gnar there, so they can really, side of EU Bias can really push an advantage here, as Gnar does not have that ultimate, and they're looking at where to go here. Cody J goes for the engage on Bunny Bunny Meow and just absolutely deletes her, while the rest of his team is pushing down Baron here. This is going to be an easy secure on the Baron, as they don't even know this is happening. They have zero vision of this area of the jungle. Their only vision sitting in the eastern quadrant.
Alright, so EU Bias able to pick up the Baron, which is going to be on all members. That should give them a pretty good opportunity just to continue the push again. It's not quite as strong as it was last time, but most importantly, putting it on those cannon minions means that they can siege practically for free. Very hard, and mostly comes down to composition to be able to deal with those Baron empowered cannon minions, which I believe it's after the 15 or 16 minute mark, every wave has a cannon minion as well, which is just going to mean that those minions push even harder. So we do have a pause. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't see anything necessarily.
It looked like Vel'Koz had a lag spike. Put him at, they're saying 20,000 ping. They're saying he's had an 8,000 ping all day, which I don't think that's quite right, but.
Yeah, he said something in the chat about hitting 22,696 ping. Yeah, that's a rough one, especially when you are a champion that has some slower spells. You really want to be able to lay them correctly to be able to hit the enemy champions. And when you're lagging out with 22,000 lag, it could be an issue that they can just, I don't know.
Reset the router, maybe. I don't know. It would definitely take a minute.
Well, we got a minute. There it goes. It does seem like we're going to resume the play. Maybe Commander C, maybe the team as a whole said, we're going to...
No, it looks like somebody else unpaused it.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they decided to just go ahead and let the game continue, even with Commander C being DC'd. Anyone can pause the game. Oh, I think someone else.
Apparently, they're testing who can pause and unpause the game.
You know what? Sometimes it's good to learn things. Even in losing games, you can learn new things. But 11,000
the more you know.
for EU bias. We've talked about this before, but this time it's a little bit different. What can C9 B team do to get back into the game? But more importantly, what is it that they did that got them in this place so far?
I mean, mostly it was Commander C's having a really rough time in the mid lane. Lighthouse and Deadless have done their job on the bot lane, making sure to hold things down. Bunny also is being caught out quite frequently, and Ice had a really rough game in the top lane. I'm not used to seeing Ice having this kind of performance on champions like Gnar, so I'm legitimately surprised to say this, but Gnar is having a major issue here, and honestly, if you could do champion select over again, maybe you take a different champion in this situation. Normally, Gnar is an extremely safe pick, but Nerzulian has just been putting in so much work on this Ornn of being able to out-sustain the Gnar in lane that honestly, the Gnar pick has been essentially neutralized. Normally, you want this champion to be sitting on the Black Cleaver, which we've got, and getting close to finishing a Frozen Mallet by now, if not having already had it completed. And we're still working on the Frozen Mallet, and he's not even going for it. It looks like he's building towards possibly a Hex Drinker. As we see play getting ready to resume in 3, 2, and 1. Got the game back live here.
Yeah, this just shows you the difference between these two teams, especially in the mid lane. That Vel'Koz sitting at 1 completed item, whereas Fizz has 3 completed items and is a 1,000 gold bounty at this point. Maokai throwing out the ultimate, wanting to chase in onto the Ornn. I've got a small pause. We'll see if this dash from Nerzulian is enough, and it is actually. Gets him outside of the snare. The root from the Maokai. Battle Bunny Meow
4 people chasing down
chase,
this Ornn.
Throws the spear, but it doesn't land. So new
Bunny's
Cougar
gone.
form and Battle Bunny Meow is just going to be bursted down by the Ornn. Kane coming in from behind
Hamster's
as
here.
well. Going to be cleaning up at least one person. Commander C, even with the heal, not nearly going to be enough. Ooh, good little small dodge from Lighthouse. Able to keep himself alive for now, but Ice still going to be knocked up, still going to be going down, and I think that the late game damage, especially from a TF, is just going to be more than enough to zone Lighthouse, the only member left alive for C9's B team. Zone him off the turret. Fizz is pushing in the bottom side, so that's going to be 2 turrets for EU Bias, and maybe 2 inhibitors as well.
Yeah, 2 turrets, 2 inhibitors, and they've actually got a small way of pushing in mid lane. They can go and catch if they want, or they can just shove these in, go for the end here. Although Commander Resing, that's going to be that's a package going to go through for the deletion on Let Me Play. Bunny Meow moving forward, however, does get pulled off by Hunky Dory here.
Alright, Maokai coming out of the base, throws out the ultimate once again, just trying to zone people away from those Nexus turrets, but there's so many waves, and it's Baron empowered waves as well, especially with those canyons. They're just going to continue to burn away on those turrets. You can see the bottom side Nexus turret already down to about a 1/3 health. It is EU Bias that decide they want that 3rd inhibitor. Get those waves pushing in every single lane. They're going to pick up the turret, move on to the Nexus as well. You don't need kills, but they've got kills and more. Kane trying to do what he can just to cause a little bit of disruption. Is able to get out alive for now, which is a critical moment, but it's still not going to be nearly enough. Ornn called, coming in, ready to knock up 2 members. Maokai able to get a shutdown gold onto the Zyra. Not going to be worth that much, but is going to add a bit more gold to the Kane's shutdown when he eventually gets one of those. As Ornn able to get the knock up onto Bunny and take out the Nidalee. Huge minion waves pouring into the
Supers
base.
have arrived here. This is going to be the final push.
Yeah, I think at this point you can just let the supers do the work, which is one of the major changes they made. Double man knockup by Nerzulian, who just really knows how to place those things correctly. They were able to pick up Kane as well as he went a bit too super aggressive. Cody J now letting Nerzulian die off to the side and be a distraction because it's the red fountain that is the target and will be taken out for game number 4 as C9's B team will lose after a pretty overall just slow game. It was kind of one of those slow nooses that EU Bias just kept tightening and tightening over the course of the game.
Yeah, definitely kept constricting the movements of C9B team, making sure that they couldn't make the moves that they needed to make in order to stage any kind of a comeback in this game. Every time Lighthouse wanted to move somewhere, there were two members there ready to stop him from making any kind of play, making any kind of important move. And at the end of the day, that's what C9B team really had to lean into, was Lighthouse making a play at the end of the game, or Lighthouse and Deadless coming out of the shadows and pulling something off, and it just never was able to manifest into what they needed.
All right, let's run through MVPs and honorable mentions if you would do the honors of the losing team.
All right, the honorable mention for C9B team is going to go over to Deadless for me. He did a fantastic job keeping Lighthouse aggressive in that early laning phase. Fantastic little cheese in the tri-brush, almost paid off majorly with the first blood. That didn't work. That didn't pull it off. And at the end of the day, Deadless didn't quite roam as much as I would have liked to see. If Deadless had maybe been able to get to mid lane before Cody J started to really, put the hammer down, that lane might end up a little bit differently. Commander might be able to get away from a couple of those ganks, might be able to turn something around. At the end of the day, though, Deadless did a good job of doing what he could in there. Speaking of doing what they could, Lighthouse, obvious choice for the MVP here, went deathless in a game where his team gave up 31 deaths. That's something that you gotta take your wins where you can get them, smile where you can. At the end of the day, though, it was great Corki play, just wasn't enough to pull out what we needed to see there. Like I said, every time he tried to make a move, EU Bios was right there on top of him, constricting him and making sure he couldn't make that move that he needed to.
All right, for the winning side, C9B team, they had some pretty good players across the board. I think that I'm going to give the honorable mention to Nerzulian, just for really being able to take a lot of pressure on that top side. He was